Hey everybody, this is the MilanTooner speaking, welcoming you guys to 2018, and what better way to kick off the year than with a commentary of the biggest project, not just for 2017, but just like recent memory pretty much. And before we get started with the special, thanks to Kristen Trussler for helping to film this advertisement for Super Bowl Lanes, who helped to co-fund the special, and thanks to them for actually co-funding the special, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a guest star, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of cool things, the special had been hard to market. Just God bless them, they're a great bunch to work with. But yeah, Tillie to the rescue. Oh my god, this was such a crazy project to work on, because the reason it took so long wasn't just because I was animating everything, but this was also pretty much within development of the series, so just pretty much 3 to 5 years working on this, and then 3 years actually working on the specials, because the series started development sometime around at the start of grade 9, so I want to say September, October 2013. Then Tillie to the Rescue was actually written in July to September 2015. Actually started this on my Croatian vacation that year. And then the special finally came out in August 2017, so it was just kind of crazy. But yeah, this whole opening here, this was actually finished in September 2015, except for this shot. This I had to add in because once the set we used for the original shot apparently wasn't okay to be used in, something about copyright or something, so I just reanimated that, and that was, I think, the very first thing I actually animated besides episode 3 of Mythic Crotooниans on this computer, which, God bless this thing. This made animating so much easier. Everything comes out better, everything is more immersive, there's more activity going on, it's crazy. But yeah, how this special got started, I don't know how specifically I came up with the idea for this one, but this was kind of among the first episode concepts, but not the first episode planned. The very first episode I had ever planned was called Night Run, and that eventually became Casey Jr.'s Mail Run, which I'll talk about in the next commentary. Then I had a few other ideas. One of them was a Christmas special called The Christmas Calamity or something. Then it was going to be Cold Wheels, which is now going to be part of a 4-part Christmas special within the next couple of years. And then I eventually just decided, you know what, I'm just going to do this Tillie the Rescue thing. And it was it was also one of the very few ideas from 2013, 2015 that actually stayed within the main order I completed by 2015, because a lot of them got scrapped, but maybe 8 or 10 stayed on for the final order. And this was always written to be a half-hour special, by the way. Initially, I wanted to do 20-minute episodes for the main series, and then I eventually figured, you know what, 10-minute episodes probably work better. And by the time Tillie the Rescue's script was done by September 2015, it was a 25-page script, so I was just you know what, let's do half-hour specials. Let's make this one and this Passion to Problem one kind of tentpole specials, kind of make things more interesting, so... And I guess this was kind of a good way to start off the series, because it's, starting it off with, with a little engine that could story makes a bit more sense, because A, Tillie is the main character, so you kind of have to go that route, and B, it's also a very nice, quiet way to start off the series, not a huge, bombastic kind of special, or something, super crazy, just kind of a very simple retelling with a bit of action, introducing some of the basic characters, just sort of a nice way to kick things off, you know? And this is Lockie, Thomas Fan 101 as Farnsworth. He did an amazing job just capturing the original character of him from the original special. And coming in is Enterprising Engine 93 as Casey Jr., or Matt Machado as you may also know him as. And it's fitting because I think these two were the first major people to be involved with Crotoonia. Enterprising, I had worked before, Matt, I had worked before on Enterprising Engines and doing the original voice of Thumper, and then doing Splatter and Dodge and a couple of other characters. And I was like, hey, I'm working on this little project called Crotoonia. It's got all these different train characters coming in. Do you want to work with it? Work on it? It was sure. And then Lockie actually messaged me on YouTube just kind of hey, if you need animators or voice actors this, I'd be more than happy to. And that's how he got involved. And then, I actually improv the whole Strong Bad bit there, so he was really fun to work with. He did a lot of great stuff for this. He's done a lot of great stuff for this series, and we're really excited to show off more of the stuff we've got planned. And here as Montana is Dean T. Moody. He was actually found through casting call. We were doing auditions on there, and then he did an audition, and it just kind of had a nice Mighty Machines-esque quality to his voice, and I was like, this is who we should have as Montana, so he joined in. And then here's Blake Hawkins, better known as Boris Fangirl as Tillie. She did, I know a lot of people in the comments were oh, why does her mic sound bad? And I'm She also voiced Emma, so if you want to hear how she usually sounds, there she is. And she just fit Tillie's role perfectly. Like, she gets that really innocent side of her, and like that sweetness and like determined nature. It's just like, she did an amazing job, even if she was recording this on Skype because of like work and stuff. And then we have Joel Hunter as Thomas, and he was actually a bit of an interesting story. Originally, we were going to have Christopher Bouchard, who voiced Thomas in the Meet the Crotunians pilot, as Thomas, and he recorded the episodes. Then something happened with someone who was no longer on the team, and then he left for a bit. And then eventually he came back on, and it was like, and by the time he was back on, like while he was offline from the series, we had Michelle, who now was casting director for the series. She recommended Joel Hunter for a couple of voices, and I was like, hey, maybe we'll have him as Thomas. So he's an amazing, friendly guy to work with. I'm glad we've got so many cool people involved on the crew. So, oh my god, just a lot of fun people to work with. And here comes another one that was also really fun to work with and really does give a great nature to the character. LJ Productions, or Leo Jones as Gordon, and he just gives such a fun quality to him. Like, he described to me at one point, like, he based him, like, his voice off Brian Blessed, and it fits perfectly. It's that very pompous and very full of himself and very strong nature to him. It's just like, it is absolutely perfect for his character. He's a lot of fun to work with. His recordings for episode 3 of Meet the Crotunians and the special were so great. I can't wait to work with him more. Just a fun guy to work with. And, this scene also kind of represents the improvement we made with, like, the computer and stuff. We wouldn't have been able to throw in the people, we wouldn't have been able to throw Rosie in that background freight train in, like, all the extra stuff we threw in, because, like, the laptops before, they were, like, they didn't have very good memory cards, and now we got one that's actually pretty decent. I do have to upgrade to a monitor, though, because, like, the monitor I used to animate is, like, for my dad's office. I think he used it for x-rays and stuff, because, like, he's a dentist, so very interesting, and, yeah, I'm trying to think of what else to mention with the scene. Oh, that's Retro Pokefan as the workman in the special. I'm trying to get him involved in more episodes. Like, we just gotta find the right parts for him, but he was very fun to work with. He gave kind of, like, the right kind of quality with the workman, just kind of, like, and, like, oh my god, this scene was all, like, doing these scenes with, like, Farnsworth was also really fun to animate. Just, like, experimenting with all the, like, different little character animation bits and just, like, kind of, like, giving him sort of that attitude and just, oh my god, it was so fun. Just, like, and, yeah, Retro Pokey was gonna voice Reginald, but the initial recordings didn't come out that great, so we're definitely finding better, like, we're gonna help him out with the next couple of episodes, so don't worry, Retro Pokey Fan's gonna be here. And here comes our guest star for the special, Callie, voiced by the great Philippa Alexander, and this one was actually a very interesting story. Originally she was gonna be voiced by someone who was not on the crew, who had volunteered to do animating and writing and all that, but she did not do a good job at it at all, so we had to, unfortunately, drop her from the crew entirely. And then around May, when we were starting to get, like, heavy-duty work of the special, like May 2017, I was like, shoot, we have no, like, Callie voice, what should we do? And then I decided, you know what? I've got enough YouTube revenue saved up, I've got, like, the funds to do this, I'm gonna go absolutely crazy, I'm gonna email her original US voice actor and see if she wants me involved. And surprisingly enough, she was like, sure, we'll just work on a fair price, and then you can, like, I'll work for the project. So I'm not sure if we're going to get her in more episodes right now, because it did cost her a little bit to get in, but she was so nice and fun to work with. She just, like, she did her lines, I think, maybe within a week or two, and, like, it's just, like, it's so surreal that I got, like, an actual voice actress from, like, the original series to do, like, voices for this. It's, like, and she's not going to be the last one either. We got a few more planned for, like, the next couple of specials and episodes, so just keep your eyes peeled. And oh, I think this one was the biggest shot we had in the whole special, in terms of, like, how much we had to animate and how long it was and everything. Actually, yeah, it was just, like, how long it was. I could be wrong, it could be shot 4, I think. But, this is another example of just, like, how much stuff we were able to put on with, like, the computer. Just, like, all these little different background things, and, like, Percy going by, and, like, all the machines, and, like, the warehouses. It's, like, and it was, like, oh my god, it was, like, so cool. And, like, this was also a very sweet scene to work with, just guys, like, because, like, I didn't want to have, like, a lot of, Tillie and most of the special just be like, oh my god, I'm so sad about everything, and, like, everything stinks, and it's just, like, you do kind of, like, relate with her a bit on a personal level. She's just kind of, like, she wants to do more, but she's stuck with, like, the same old thing every day, and, like, the same old work, and just kind of, like, constantly put down by some of the other engines, despite having, like, a bit of a support group. So it was kind of like a bit more personal to me, I guess. And like, also inserting this bit was also kind of interesting, just kind of like also, because like, it's like, it is kind of a generic moral, like, you can, like, you know, never give up and all that, but like, it was also interesting just to show, like kind of like that side of like, you know, just because you're little doesn't mean like your job stings, because like, we have all these different little engines that do all these different jobs on Crotoonia, and just kind of like showing you can still be useful even if you don't have like that major a job. So just like going over this again, it's kind of like interesting. And coming up was a very fun scene to direct. Like I think I streamed, like I know I streamed this shot a bit when I like back in December 2016, but like I don't think I streamed much of the actual chase scene here, and it was like, it was really fun to direct and like play around with the angles and just make it feel like super dramatic. It was like like, oh my god, like the truck, that was, whew, this was just like a really, I sound like a parrot at this point, like, just bringing with all these angles and like showing the force of everything and trying to play around with like actually animating everything. It was a very fun shot to work on, and kind of like fun to play with a bit more suspense in this, you know, trying to make this feel a little bit bigger. And I will admit though, those milk cans were kind of like like you'll definitely know what I mean, but like the milk cans in like the first car, I was gonna probably, I think I was planning to include more, and then I was just kind of like, oh god, I can't animate like more than 3, and this is gonna be too hectic to like keep up with everything. So that's why there's only 3 in there. And yeah, Jebediah I think was thrown in like towards the end of like towards the point where we're actually rendering the final version of the scene, because I was like, hey, let's actually put him in so people know what was up with that. And here's another really cool set I got to work with, Selgrib City Harbor. This was, I mean, well, Selgrib Bay Harbor, like we got a few different names, but this is kind of an interesting set to work with, because like it wasn't like it's a very simple set when you get down to it, but it's also like this huge immersive set, and like I think this had the most activity out of any scene, just kind of like, there's some points where it doesn't look like it as much, but then you got like a couple of shots I'll point out where it's kind of like, whoa, you could put on so much this set. Well, you gotta watch it for this, like the program doesn't crash, but it's a very fun set to work and a lot of cool stuff to immerse yourself in. And for the character of Terex, I didn't want to do like Cranky or Big Mickey at the docks because it was kind of generic, although we do have Cranky at Crotoonia Bay, and we definitely have him in one of the next episodes, so it's just kind of like, let's create something. I'll find this model, and I'll give him a name, so, hey, Terex sounds like a cool name, because, you know, crane companies and all that, so... Oh, and right here we've got Alice Stone as Ariel. God bless her. She was, I think she was one of, if not the first female voice actress we had for the crew, and, like, she just gets Ariel's spirit right. She's just, like, so spunky and, like, adventurous and independent, like, oh my god. I'm just so glad I've got to work with so many cool people on the project, because they're not just like they're not just like, hey, good teammates to work with. They're like really good friends too. Oh my god. Well, I do have to talk about this one a little bit, because this is kind of where the crunch time for the special came in, because the special was kind of delayed because Vegas ended up screwing up while I was working on another video, and so there was a couple of cutbacks that unfortunately kind of happened thanks to me a little bit. So the sounds I forgot to add in the scene because like I was kind of busy with a few other things, like trying to make sure all the animation for the special was done. Also, this is an example of like how much I was able to fit in. Just like that one shot, we had like 4 or 5 trains going on once, and like, oh my god, it's like, this was actually, like, usually I try to do everything in one shot, but this was, I think, one of the first times where I kept the sequence to maybe a few different shots. We had pretty much 3 shots in total for that scene. The big shot where, like, everything, like, all the activity was going on, then the shot with Rusty, and then the shot with the, what was it, drawbridge, so, pretty cool. And this was another cool shot to direct. Like, my favorite shot, like, one of my favorite shots out of the special is coming up here. Like, oh my god, where is it? Just, like, here we go. Like, just look at this. Everything's, like, speeding. It's just kind of, like, getting you an idea of the action, just making you feel more suspenseful, just like the near miss and, like, the crate flying. It's just like, oh my god, it was, like, amazing. And, this, like, while we're at this point, I will say nothing much in the original script really changed, apart from maybe a few location changes or something. But, this, I did kind of cheat a bit, because, like, originally he was going to actually go around a loop, but then was like, oh, shoot, I didn't build this loop thing properly, so I threw Big Tim in there. It's like, oh, like, we'll just have him back up and say he goes to the loop, so a little bit of cheating, but with how much I was working on the special and, like, the deadline I had, it was kind of like, oh no. I also remember building a lot of the sets for the special within maybe, like, the last month or so. Like, this one and the loop one, they were, like, in August or July, I want to say. Like, Great Wolf Forest, that was back in, I want to say February probably, because I actually applied the crash scene that you're about to see as, like, something for, like, my portfolio when I was applying, and sadly didn't get in. But, anyways. And yeah, there's a... Just to warn you, if you're gonna animate with MMD, hair physics are terrible, or like dress physics. And here is my absolute favorite shot of the special. This was the point I was realizing, oh my god, I'm actually doing really good with the animation now. And like, oh my god, like this is what I show to a lot of my animation friends, just kind of like show, hey, I'm working on this little thing, cause like, oh my god, like even if there's like a couple of things missing, like water effects or anything, like, oh my, just like how tense everything it gets, and just kind of like the climax of this huge chase, and it's just like everything's chaotic, everything derails. Oh my god, it's absolutely crazy. And oh my god, this shot here, this was originally going to be like a little joke that Lockie improv, where it's like Mr. Lazy would be the workman, then he'd just walk out and just like, well, I guess I'm fired today. But we didn't have time to finish the animation for that, so we just settled. So I just filmed like a bit of the Fire and Rescue Center set, which I intended to do for a little bit, and then I was just kind of like, hey, we'll do that, you know, just establish that and just kind of like show, oh, this is a serious emergency. And this was a shot that also became dynamic from like the original version of this, because originally she was just going to come in from like the viaduct and then just kind of like roll up as everything's going on, push the, like couple up to the breakdown train and all that, and then just move off. And then it became more dynamic, like she's moving across the junction, and then she's like Piper's shunting her like train in place, and like, whew, it was a lot of stuff. And oh my god, this was another really cool shot to work with, because like I think this was one of the first ones I did with motion blur, and it came out really good in parts. Like this part just looked really good, like just like, oh my god, it was like, you'll definitely be able to tell which scenes were animated when for the special, like which ones were 2015, which ones were 2016, 2017, whatever, because like everything just kept evolving for my animation skills to the special. So I think this was one of the last shots I had to do in terms of the big shots, and it kind of shows at points because like some of the sound effects didn't come out quite so right, and just like there was a few things I kind of forgot to put in, like some of it could have been done a little bit better, a bit more detailed. Just gonna take some water. But it still came out pretty good. And oh my god, trying to think if there's anything particularly notable with this scene.
You're acting worse than Montana should be. He's worked all morning with the slow freight all around
oh, what else about the special though? I should also talk about too, just like how tough it was for me to get the special like done while the scene's going on, because basically the original plan was I was gonna do it as like a direct-to-DVD thing, like, you know, release this and the first 3 episodes together, and then the constant delays meant that couldn't happen, and then as mentioned earlier, it was gonna come out at a somewhat earlier date in August, and then like for the Beast of Fun live stream, and then my Sony Vegas ended up messing up, so I had to put it on the back burner for the Monday after, so I just showed the work print. So it was very crazy just to get this thing out, but even with some things missing, I'm glad with how a lot of this did turn out, because like it was just such a nice project to work on, just like so much experimenting, kind of like not just for animating but also marketing, and like showing people what I could do and showing what the series was kind of like, so it wouldn't be just like a generic bad crossover. And oh my god, this one coming up is actually the debut of one of the biggest friends I end up making with the project, Michelle Hurtado, who voices Missy Ella right here, but also voices Dizzy, Wendy, Meg, like, oh my god, there's like so many characters she's involved in, but like, she's also the casting director and like head script editor for the series now, and she just brought such a nice quality to the project. She was like kind of like a bit of wisdom, a lot of like helping out, kind of like a go-to whenever things were kind of like stressful, and like more than willing to give advice. Just like, she's very nice to work with, and I'm glad I made a lot of friends when working on this too, just like voice actors and like modelers and like all these different people, just like, oh my god, it was so great. And like I guess with this scene and the previous scene, and like a few other scenes that we had throughout the special, I guess what was important to me with Crotoonia was to make sure that character interaction was key with a lot of points. Like, you're gonna have a lot of action, a lot of cool stuff go on, and you know, try and keep things a little bit really realistic, because like, but like, to me, within like these kinds of stuff, I think what really matters is like character interaction, because what I noticed with a lot of Pooh's Adventures videos and like all these different videos trying to cross over things that either turn out really good or really bad, is that very few of them seem to make character interaction key. Like, you know, you have Thomas the Tank Engine and the Little Engine that could together. Have fun with that. Throw in a few different concepts, throw in a little scene, and like all that. So, okay, but before I continue though, this is something I do have to acknowledge. So, a lot of people are concerned, why is this shot empty? But the reason for that was I was going to include Jones's theme into this, and that's who his voice was going to be right there. But I couldn't choose how to animate him because Tony Pilot gave me a model to use, but like he didn't look that good. It was a little bit too anime-ish. And then I was going to do it like the original, like just pick up stuff from original episodes, but that would take too long because I don't have masking on this. Well, I got news, the only biggest thing, so it can mask, but yeah, that's why that happened. And also, oh my god, this is a really great scene. Like, this was kind of interesting, because initially it was going to be, like, all narration, just like, Tillie was, like, it was hard for Tillie to get up steam first, but she never gave up and all that. But then I eventually decided, nah, that wouldn't really work, it kind of killed the mood. And so it was going to be no dialogue apart from what Tillie says. And then I eventually decided, you know what? I've got an idea. I've heard about this Maddie person, like Mad Girls person, like I've seen a few videos with. I want to see if she wants to do some, like, music for the special, so Maddie ended up recording Nothing Can Stop Us Now, and it turned out so good. Like, oh my god, she did an amazing job with this, and, like, it really did add, like, kind of, like, a nice mood to the whole scene, just kind of, like, oh my god, ugh. I've been very sick while recording the commentary, so that's kind of why I'm a little frazzled, but, like, this was just such a nice shot to work on, like, whole scene to work on, because, like, it had a nice mood and everything. This, I think, is one of the few shots from the original 2015 stuff that was actually unaltered, so you can kind of tell, because, like, she doesn't have the eyebrows, and, like, it's a little bit rougher looking, but, like, I might even throw in I want to throw in more musical stuff into the specials, but not just, like, because, like, some of the crew members don't like all of them, but, like, and not force them in, just kind of, like, maybe do, like, musical interludes and stuff like this. And that's Luca Dollar as Henry. He did a very good job, along with the other voice. Like, everyone who worked on the voices for this special, they all did good. They're all good beans. They got good noodles. Y'all were freaking great. And, again, this was kind of something that wasn't changed too much from what we originally animated before lip sync started up, except for the angle that just passed, like, you know, Tillie coming to the station, and then, the stuff with, like, the end, we obviously added in a lot more detail with the bus, and, like, Donald and, like, Toots going by, so it was very interesting to see how much changed with, like, this computer coming in, and, like, helping us to make the animating easier and, like, faster, and, like, also throw in a lot more detail and make the sets feel a bit more alive. So some really fun stuff. And right here we have, like, I think this definitely wasn't the last scene I had to animate for the special, but it was certainly one of the more interesting to see, like, in the final product, because I'd always intended for Sir Alan, who I kind of wrote in because I didn't want to do just like, oh, Sir Topham Hatt Run Zero, because we gotta get, because Sodor still exists, and they still gotta, like, run a railway and all that over there, so I just kind of decided, you know what, let's try, like, I'm gonna dig up an old character I had, like, kind of rename him, give him a new position, so I gave Lockie a model sheet, and this was, like, his animation was done within the last week of the special, pretty much. Like, he did the animation on his computer, because, like, actually his school computer, because it had Photoshop, so he drew a lot of the scene, like, he drew that. Like, he sent me all the frames so I could put it together, and then that's how the scene kind of came up, and he's definitely going to get a bit more of a refined design towards his original model sheet, because, like, this was kind of, like, sort of last-minute stuff that we had to do, because, like, we had a deadline to crunch, and, like, everything kind of had to be like, okay, we got to get moving, we got to get this special done, and, yeah, with the curtain thing, I couldn't find, like, an actual curtain model, so it was just kind of like, hey, I found a stage thing that has curtains, so I'll just throw a crane in there, and that'll help you how it lifts up, so. And yeah, it was always kind of like my intention to throw in, like, the mail train in there, because, like, we can't have Tillie in the show and not have the original cars. Like, come on, I have to do it. Oh, and that was Stephanie Panicello making a quick cameo there. She had one other line in the special originally, but she never got around to recording it, because, like, I think her career started picking up after she recorded this episode, in episode 4, so we were very glad to have her involved in the project. She did a lot of great work, and she did a lot of, she put a lot of heart into, like, her recordings for, like, this and the Meet the Crotunians episode and, like, episode 4, so I'm really glad, God bless her, Godspeed to her future, so hoping to work with her again, if she's still around, so I don't know, and, I guess the pacing for this last scene was a bit awkward, because, like, everything was kind of, like, in at once, and we had to drop the one line, so, but, like, it still came out very nice, and, like, the last shot, it's kind of, like, hard for me to not go, that was a really great last shot, so, like, that's coming up, like, you know, as we roll the credits and all that. So, oh my god, just, like, that sunset, the engines trailing off, the forest, the animation during the credits, just very nice. So, that was Tillie to the rescue, and even if some things had to be rushed just to get it done for, like, the deadline and everything, and, like, you know, there's some things I maybe could have changed a little bit. I am still immensely glad of how this, of how the special turned out. I'm glad, everyone was supportive for it. I'm glad we could get help for it. I'm glad that a lot of great people got involved with this. I am so glad we've gotten so much, views for, this thing. This is at, I think, 224,000 views right now, and I'm just like, oh my god, how? How did we get, so many views for, a half-hour pilot special? It just feels really nice, because, it makes the effort so much more worth it, and it makes all the time that we put into this worth it, and, all the work that the crew put into this worth it. It's just, it feels very good. So I want to thank everyone who supported the special so far. I want to thank everyone who helped make the special. Special thanks to Casey, who's been my partner in crime for 4 years, pretty much since high school started, and has been supportive of the project since it started. So, and thank you to the entire Crotoonia crew for helping to make this special possible. And I don't know what else to really say. There's not much else I can describe for the special, except 2018 is going to be a really amazing year for the channel. We've got so many specials and episodes coming out, and there's going to be all sorts of great things, new shorts and new DVDs and new merch and everything. So yeah, I hope you guys had a happy new year. We'll see you for the next commentary whenever it is, and hope you all have a good day. See ya.
Let the good times bowl.